1, 2, 3. Hello everyone! Sorry I ghosted the channel. I wanted to die. Now you see, ghosts. Most of the time you can find them in a specific university that I'm not gonna name because my cousin is gonna be really mad at me. But most of the time you can see them in the corner of a room just staring at you and smiling. Aswang is an umbrella term for ghouls, monsters, vampires, shifting evil spirits, all that type. I heard a story from my nanay once that the quieter an aswang gets, the nearer it is to you. So if you can barely hear the sounds of an aswang, you better haul ass. Now, one of the most popular aswangs in our country is probably the Manananggal. So the Manananggal is derived from the word tanggal, which is to split. This monster splits its body in half to hunt for food. So the upper body morphs into this bat-like creature, you know, with fangs, long nails, and then a big-ass set of wings, and then it splits its body in half. So like all the entrails and the intestines hanging from the body of the Manananggal, and then its lower body is it just stays put. So if you're a Manananggal, it's gonna get really convenient at night because you can both clean the floors and then cook food. They use their elongated sharp tongue to suck the blood out or the baby of a pregnant woman. Yeah. So if you hear the odd sound of like like a faint sound of kick. So if you don't want to get mutilated by one, I've read and heard some anecdotes from some of my old neighbors that you should sprinkle your house with salt, or if you find the lower body of the Manananggal, pour a bunch of salt in its lower body because it's gonna hurl up and then die. And then it's also similar to the vampire where if it's in its monster form and then it sees the sunlight, it burns. There's also a whole ritual about being a Manananggal where there's like ointments that you oils and shit that you consume, but I'm not a Manananggal, so I can't say for sure. Now, the Chanak is one of the creepiest things that I've ever heard about because it's a demonic baby. It's basically a demon that takes form of a baby.
Yes, the floor here is made out of floor.
So the prehistoric origin of this myth is that if a woman has a miscarriage or something, it becomes a Chanak, or an unborn baby dies, it becomes a Chanak. And then when the Spaniards came over, they were like, how can we Catholicize this story? And what they did is they changed it from an unborn baby dies, it's when an unbaptized baby dies. So that becomes a Chanak. You might be wondering, how can a little baby demon hunt for its prey? These little things mimic a crying baby while in the woods. So if you're a good person and then you hear a crying baby in the woods, you're gonna think, oh no, this baby has been abandoned. So the most logical thing to do there is to pick up the baby. But that's where it bites you in the ass for being a good person, because the next thing you know, this baby, this little demonic baby is gonna bite you in the neck and you are gonna die, because once your jugular vein snaps, there's no way to stitch it and all the blood will be in the floor in 5 minutes. So once it bites you in the neck, it's gonna get really strong and then it's gonna suck up all your blood and eat all of your intestines. Now, the best way to fight this thing is to never pick up a baby in the woods if you hear it crying, or if for some reason you picked up said baby that was crying in the woods and then you realize that it's a Chanak, just change your shirt inside out and then the Chanak is gonna be like, haha, this human is so stupid for turning its shirt inside out right in front of my presence, and it's gonna laugh, and while it's laughing, just throw it and haul ass. Capras are typically described as very muscular dudes that are in between 7 to 9 feet tall that smoke cigars all day and they hang out near very big trees. You know, they're typically good guys, but most of the anecdotes that I've heard gives off some really creepy vibes because them dudes keep abducting young women to be their bride. Based on the anecdotes that I heard, is like the Capra is gonna lure a young woman to, hey, come along with me to a cliff under a tree. We can right under the ocean. I don't know. So yeah, basically, if you're a young woman that is lured by a capra and you go with the capra, you do have a chance of coming back as long as you don't eat anything that the capra offers you. Which will be very hard because the capra is gonna keep offering you food for days on end. Maybe in the last minute, it's gonna be like, fine, you don't want my food. I'm gonna throw you back to your world. And then yeah, you could have escaped, but during that time, your body's gonna be weak and ill, and like you're gonna die in a couple of days anyway. So you should have just taken the food. These dudes are also considered, apart from abducting young women, these dudes are considered to be very mischievous too. So what they're gonna do is, if like some travelers back then or some hikers back then are gonna get disoriented, even in a familiar place, like, oh no, what am I doing here? I just passed that rock. You can beat out the spell that the capra cast on you by turning your shirt inside out. Again, the capra is gonna find this really hilarious, and then it's gonna laugh, and then like, okay, yeah, funny human, and then that's that. Personally, I think that the capra just wants to see young women take their shirts off, and that's gross. Mamba barangs are the Philippine version of witches, but they're not the typical Western idea of witches. It's more related to shamanism, if that makes sense. So these people place hexes and curses on their victims. Said curses are often creepy crawlies that are crawling in your creepies. Old people used to believe that things like, infections in your ear, having sore eyes, or getting hemorrhoids are caused by mambabarangs. In fact, there are still a lot of people in the Philippines that believe in mambabarang. And instead of going to a doctor, they would go to an albularyo. So an albularyo is a faith healer. There's also the multo and the MUMU. This, guys, is an umbrella term for your typical Halloween sheet ghosts, spirits, people. Like, they're gonna tell you, don't go there, there's a MUMU over there. Halaka, the MUMU will get you now. And then the young kids are gonna be like, I don't want to get taken by the MUMU. So you run over to the older people. I think it's just a way to get kids to behave. And this term can also be used to the girls that stopped talking to me when I told them that I have a YouTube channel, and then they checked out some of my videos.